Hello and welcome back to another episode of this week's watches, and this week we have 10 incredible watches for you guys and girls, ranging from modern to Rolex to something really cool with a Cellini to some amazing vintage Omegas. As I said, we've got some great vintage watches coming soon. The next few weeks are looking really impressive with some really incredible stuff, so you guys and girls are going to be in for a right treat. And this week we have some special stuff as well, including a Speedmaster I have never seen before, and also a fantastic Speedmaster with a bit of a little story, and something I'm really excited to bring. So hopefully you guys and girls enjoy this week's drop as much as I enjoyed curating this week's drop. But before we get into the watches on the table, what's on wrist? I'm wearing my 1969 Rolex Oyster Date Precision. This is a 6694 and it's original riveted bracelet. It comes with its box and papers and it is not for sale. It's a really great watch. I love it very much and try and wear it as regularly as I can. So yes, but before we dive into the watches on the table real quickly, I just want to say a big thank you. We have been getting an influx of watches, people selling to us, people consigning with us. It has been incredible, and the sales have also been incredible. You guys and girls are keeping really on top of those sales and making sure you buy lots, so I really do appreciate it, and it's been quite incredible really, so thank you all very much. I just wanted to say that before we get into the watches. So let's crack on with what you're here to see, and we're going to have to start with the Explorer, the now discontinued 39mm Rolex Explorer 1. This is the Mark II, so let's take a closer look. So starting this week off with the classic and now discontinued Rolex Explorer 1 in 39mm, not the new 40mm, and this is the Mark II, which features the Lume 36 and 9 and the slightly longer handset compared to the Mark I. Absolutely incredible watch. The reference is 214270, and as we open up the bracelet, which is fully linked and full sized, you can see a plain case back as you'd expect with the automatic Rolex caliber 3132 inside. This watch, as I say, does feature all of its links and is in worn but very fair condition, to be honest, for a worn watch from May 2019. It does come with its box and paperwork, and a full case and bracelet refurb can be provided at an additional cost and an additional time frame to delivery. If you are interested and would like that, just let us know, send us an email. Obviously you have a screw down crown as well, which is what makes these Oyster Perpetuals fantastic, and 100 meters waterproof. This is the reason why the Rolex Explorer is considered the perfect everyday watch by so many, and you can see exactly why. It not only looks fantastic, but it really is versatile in many ways, both physically and also aesthetically, in my opinion. There are fitted rubber option straps from a couple of manufacturers, which do look kind of cool. I prefer personally the clean look of the bracelet, but to each their own. As I say, May 2019 with its box and paperwork ready to go. So let's show it on wrist and talk dive. And here we go, comfortably paired on my 7-inch wrist. I really like how the 39mm wears personally. I think it really is the perfect proportion. However, the 36mm is the classic in my mind, but for me on wrist, I actually prefer the 39. Kind of torn between this and the 36. This is 39mm by 48mm lug to lug, 12mm thick and 20mm on the lugs. Endless options. A really great watch, and I'll be interested to see what the 40 is like compared to this. Haven't got hands on yet, but when I do, I'll be sure to share my opinions. So go check this one out on the website today. From there over to a Rolex Cellini, a beautiful 18 karat gold reference with a very interesting dial. I think you guys and girls are going to really like this one, so let's take a closer look. Next up is a awesome Rolex Cellini, and this is one of the first Cellinis we have had in stock. What you're looking at is 18 karat yellow gold, a really beautiful and interesting dial with white Arabic numerals around the outside and a slightly grey inner side, which is like the record, like a record player, like a vinyl record. It has concentric lines, very hard to capture, and I'm probably doing it no justice with this camera at the moment, so I do apologise. You have simple two-hand layout, Rolex Geneve Cellini stated right there. It's amazing really that this is a Rolex. It's, you know, traditionally speaking, or at least the modern day thought process of Rolex, this isn't a Rolex, which is why I absolutely love it. As I say, 18 karat gold, and as we flip it over, you've got the signed crown right here. You have also a case back with the sticker still present, which is why it looks that way. That sticker hasn't been taken off, so it's got a bit of bubbling underneath, sort of to be expected when stickers are left on. Personally, I prefer to take stickers off, but obviously I want to keep this as it is at the moment to go out to the new owner for them to decide what to do, but I would be taking that off personally. You have your original 18 karat gold Rolex buckle, and the original Rolex strap is provided in the box. However, it's been quite worn, so we've put it on a matching black leather strap ready to go. The reference to this one is 4233/8, and inside is a manually wound Rolex caliber 1602. Interestingly, this one is from May 2005 and comes with its box and paperwork. Yes, you heard that correct. Box and paperwork. I've not actually seen one of these Cellinis with its original box and paperwork, and I'm talking the correct box as well, not just a generic Rolex box thrown in, which I see a lot of dealers do. This has its correct box and paperwork, which is really, really cool. So quite a rare oddity, and with the discontinuation of the Cellini, I think now's a pretty interesting time to try and find a Cellini that you like and one that really speaks to you, and this may be that one. So let's show it on wrist and taut dimension. And here we go, comfortably paired on my 7-inch wrist. What you're looking at is 33mm by 40mm lug to lug, only 7mm thick and 19mm on the lugs. A very cool looking watch at that size point, and again, it makes for quite an interesting wear and definitely a talking point for those of you out there who are into your watches. So go check this one out on the website today. From there over to the Baltic. This is the Baltic, a collected man limited edition of 300 watches called the Blue Roulette. Probably my favorite of the MR01 range, and I think you guys and girls will quickly see why. So let's take a closer look. Next up, we have the awesome Baltic MR01, which stands for Micro Rotor, and this is the Collected Man Limited Edition, nicknamed the Blue Roulette, and you can see why from that dial. A really, really good looking watch, a very, very nice dial layout, and also a very good texture to the dial, especially at this price point. I think it's fascinating that they've managed to achieve this. You have a nice brushed bezel, which is different to the standard MR01, and as we flip it over, you are presented with that exhibition caseback, showcasing a Chinese micro rotor movement, and that micro rotor movement is pretty interesting, especially at this price point, to get a micro rotor movement. Again, this is what Baltic is really focused on, doing something very beautiful, which aesthetically this whole package is, but also very affordable and slightly different, and I think they've definitely achieved that. Now, there is something to be said about this movement. It is, you know, it's been used by quite a few brands now, and quite a few brands are doing different things. I feel like they've now got over the hurdles. Some of the earlier MR01s, especially the first batch, the numbered edition, did have a few issues here and there, and unfortunately I've experienced a few of those myself. However, we've had quite a few of these later ones, the non-numbered edition and also the Collected Man one, and not a single one has had an issue, which has been quite interesting to see. Comes paired on its original strap, which looks fantastic, and obviously signed buckle as well. This one's from September 2022, comes with its box and paperwork. It is in worn condition, but to be honest, there's not really any signs of wear. To be honest, you can treat this as like new, I would say, quite comfortably. So let's show it on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go, paired on my 7-inch wrist, a very, very good looking watch at 36mm by 43.5mm lug to lug, only 10mm thick and 20mm on the lugs. It's endless options, and one well worth checking out, especially at the price point. Obviously at retail it was an absolute steal, but I still think even at the prices these are at now, I still think it's a lot of watch for the money personally. Let me know what you think down in the comments, but go check this one out on the website today. From there over to a Speedmaster, a Mark II Speedmaster from 1970 in incredible worn vintage condition with really beautiful patina, and the way the dial and hands have aged is beautiful, and it does come with its bracelet as well, so let's take a closer look. So the first of 5 Omegas in today's drop, and we're starting off with a vintage Speedmaster. This is the incredible Speedmaster Professional Mark II. For those of you that know your different references of Speedmaster, you'll know that this was released pretty much around the time we landed on the moon, and they wanted to create something very futuristic, big and bulky, and really leading into that 70s aggressive design, which I really am personally a big fan of. This one is the reference 145014, and what you're looking at right there is its original dial and handset and loom, which is aged beautifully. This is incredible, and a bit of a story with this one. As I said, I actually purchased this from the original family of the watch. Unfortunately, it has no box or paperwork or anything like that, which is why we're not making a big scream and shout about it on the website. Because if it had all that and we had photos and all that kind of stuff, it would be truly amazing. But it was an honor to work with the lady who brought this watch into us and give her a fair price. And knowing that what that money's been used for is very nice to know. The watch had basically sat in a drawer for 8 years before it came to us, and it was in a bit of a state. So we've managed to source a new crystal somehow. Well, not a new crystal, it's a vintage crystal for this reference, so there are still a couple of hairline scratches here and there, but it is far superior to what we had. For those of you who don't know, this tachymeter scale is actually printed on the inside of the crystal, so you can't just swap this out, and it's not one you can just get off the shelf. It's a very hard crystal to find, so we're very fortunate to be able to do that. As I say as well, this watch does come with its original bracelet. As you can see right here, this bracelet has never been sized and still features its rivets over the spring bars, so you can't actually move it up at the moment. You'd have to take those rivets off. We're leaving it as is because I personally think it's really cool to have something like that. You don't see that often. But also these bracelets, in my opinion, are a pain in the ass to size, and I actually think it looks better on a strap, which is why we're providing it with a strap as well. We can obviously have that sized for you and fitted to your wrist if you so desire, but I personally wouldn't wear it on that. I'd wear it on this, and I think this is a very cool pairing. This is an under the cuff rubber strap. Surprisingly, it's rubber, and it just looks perfect. It matches it very, very well. So as I say, this one is from circa 1970 with the manually wound caliber 861 inside, which was the later version to the 321 based on a Lemania movement, and we had the watch fully serviced prior to bringing it to you guys and girls. So it's running beautifully, ready to go off to its new home. So let's show it on wrist and taut dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. This is by no means a small watch, but I actually really, really like it. I find it personally quite comfortable, but then I do like these bigger, quirkier 70s pieces, so it's obviously very fitting for me. So what you're looking at size-wise on this one is 41.5mm by 45mm lug to lug, 14mm thick and 20mm on the lugs. Very cool watch and one well worth checking out, and priced very fair considering it also comes with its bracelet. Do not forget that. So go check it out on the website today. From there over to another Omega Speedmaster, but polar opposite to what we were just looking at. This is the automatic, or also known as the reduced, but with a mother of pearl dial and red numerals. This is a reference you very, very rarely see, and one that certainly won't be for everyone, but for the guy or girl out there who likes this is going to really, really appeal to them. So let's take a closer look. So next up we have an Omega Speedmaster automatic, or nicknamed the reduced, but not just any old reduced. What you're looking at right there is a beautiful mother of pearl dial with vibrant red Arabic numerals. This certainly won't be for everyone, but I suspect some of you out there are absolutely going to love this design, and I can totally see why. I think it's one of those really, really cool, interesting, quirky designs on something very, very serious like a Speedmaster, so I'm all for it. The reference to this one is the 3534.79.00. Inside is the automatic Omega caliber 3220, which is based on an ETA, and it has a Debris de Poids module for the chronograph, which basically, if you look, you can see the crown is offset to the pushers. This is an indicator that you have an automatic movement with a chronograph module. It isn't always the case. There are some brands that have actually got modules, but have basically like a rerouter, if you will, to put them in line. The reduced don't have that, so that's just something to keep in mind. But it doesn't really affect the aesthetics of wearing the watch, in my opinion. We've paired it on an Omega reduced bracelet. This isn't the one that this watch would have originally been sold on. They came on this sort of like, it had this crosshatch pattern. If you search the reference on Omega's website, you'll be able to see what it came on. I'm personally not a big fan of that. I actually think this looks a lot better, but that's just me personally. This one is from circa 2000s. I would probably say early 2000s, but it's got no box or paperwork, unfortunately. But they show on wrist and taut dimensions. Here we go. On my 7-inch wrist, these always wear super comfortable, especially in comparison to the big beast we just tried on a second ago. This is 39mm by 44.5mm lug to lug, 12mm thick and 18mm on the lug. So endless options for swapping this out. I think a vibrant red strap would look really, really cool as a alternative to the bracelet. So go check it out on the website today. Now let's get on to some vintage Seamasters. We're going to have to start with my favourite, the 34mm waffle dial, a really, really wonderful example. And as I say, one I have not had before, so let's take a closer look. Now we are on to the vintage Omega Seamasters. I've been excited to bring these to you guys and girls. This is an absolutely gorgeous early Omega Seamaster from 1956 in 34mm with a waffle sector dial with the crosshair. I've never seen this before, so this is a first for me and something I've been very excited about. Those coffin markers or dagger markers, many different names for them. This is just a perfect parcel for me personally. Something to keep in mind, that is the original Omega Sign crystal. It does have some marks here and there that I've been unable to get out with the polish wheel without going too far, so I don't want to do that. We can have it replaced for a generic crystal if you wish. Just let us know. It will come at no cost, but it will add a bit of time to the delivery. But this original crystal I've kept on there, even with these marks, because I just think as a package, it's amazing to see it like this. And again, that's me personally. So this is the reference 2759-10, and inside is the manually wound Omega caliber 420. And as I say, this is from circa 1956. You have Speedmaster stated down there, and you also have waterproof waterproof stated down there at 6 o'clock. Obviously, this watch is not waterproof. Please don't go anywhere near water with this watch. Quite rare to actually still see that engraving. It is so faintly put on there that after a couple of polishes, that's gone completely. I wouldn't say this watch is unpolished. It has seen a polish wheel over its life, but it's not been overly polished at all. You have your original Omega crown as well, and we paired it on a nice suede strap, which I think suits that dial very nice and brings that tone out of the dial, which is almost like a browny yellowy colour. It's very difficult to explain what colour that is, but a really great watch. So let's show it on wrist and taut dimension. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. Some people are afraid of the 34mm, thinking it's a bit too small. I couldn't disagree more. I actually think the 34mm is perfect on the wrist, and I've owned many 34mm Speedmasters and love them to pieces. So this is 34mm by 41.5mm lug to lug, 9.5mm thick, and 18mm on the lug. So endless options if you're not a fan of my strap pairing, which I know some of you don't like the brown suedes. And as a lot of you know, I love a brown suede. So there you go. Go check this one out on the website today. Now on to a incredibly clean 34mm Denison automatic, manual wound, sorry, Omega Speedmaster. Really beautiful. Again from 1956, very early on in that range, and just a condition I've not seen, and a dial condition I've not seen. So let's take a closer look. Next up, one of the nicest dials I have seen in a long time. This is a beautiful Omega Speedmaster. What you're looking at right there is an original dial that is not reprinted or repainted. That is original with its original tritium and its original hands, which do have tarnishing, which is to be expected of this era, and again original tritium in there as well. Very, very nice, very beautiful, and one I am very also excited about. And where this one gets even more interesting is you have a beautiful 34mm Denison case, Denison being the English case maker that Omega love to use on many of their models. And it does mean that the reference on the inside of the case back, you also have on the inside of the case itself, underneath this case back, just around here, which is 803, and it doesn't actually have a case reference. This isn't uncommon for the Denison cases of this period, which is circa 1956, so do keep that in mind. But a very, very cool case. It has been refinished, but refinished very, very well, and you still have some of your original chamfers. So definitely not over polished or anywhere near over polished. You do have a replacement crown, but it's true to the design that would have been on the crown, which is kind of nice, just without the Omega logo. And again, original Omega crystal, which is in fantastic condition. Overall, one of the nicest Speedmasters I've had in a little while. So inside is a manually wound Omega caliber 420 again, and as I say, circa 1956. They show this beauty on the wrist and taut dimensions. And there we go, on my 7-inch wrist, you can see why I have fallen in love with this one. 34mm by 41.5mm lug to lug, 9mm thick, and 18mm on the lugs. A real beauty. Go check this one out on the website today, and if you're interested in a vintage Speedmaster, you're going to struggle to find better, especially at this price point, so snap it up whilst you can. From there over to a Cicero. We recently sold our Cicero and we've now got another one in. This one has fantastic patina. Again, it's the sort of patina that won't be for everyone, but that's totally okay. And this is what I love getting with the Speedmasters, a nice range. So you guys who really value, or girls out there who really value crisp, clean dials and hands and all original and everything perfect, we have one here. And then for you, those of you who like a bit more patina, we have this here as well. So let's take a closer look at this one. So Cicero time. Yes, we've had a few Omega Speedmaster Ciceros, and I absolutely love them, especially because you get the larger 36mm case, which for those of you who are worried about the 34mm, this is the one for you. What you're looking at is an original dial, and it is patinaed really, really interestingly. As you can see, very even. Around the indices, you sort of have the burn markers as well as the logo itself. Very, very unusual and very cool. You have original tritium in the hands as well. Nice sub-seconds down there. And the reason these are called Ciceros, it's in reference to the Amiga Ranchero, which was a reference 2990-1. And this is the same case reference, so 2990-1. And there's many theories and many opinions out there. The most common one, and the one I sort of tend to believe, is that the Ranchero unfortunately didn't do particularly well as a model, and they discontinued it, and rather than obviously getting rid of all the cases and all the different bits and bobs, they started making them into Seamasters, as you can see. I think that makes sense. You know, you got to think of the time period. This one's circa 1959, so back then they didn't know they'd have loads of watch nerds like today checking all these things and going, hold on a minute, there's loads of Seamasters in Ranchero cases, and hence the name Cicero. So yeah, circa 1959, inside is Amiga manually wound caliber 268. As you can see, a nice example, definitely worn, definitely got some marks, got some character and charm, but it is beautiful and I really, really like it. Let's show it on wrist and talk diamond. And there we go, comfortably paired on my 7-inch wrist. You can see the 36mm sits beautifully. 36mm by 44mm lug to lug, 9.5mm thick, and again 18mm on the lugs, endless options for straps. This is one well worth checking out and priced incredibly well, so go check it out today. Now on to squales. We have two squales. We have the 1521 Onda in blue, or it's almost like a purpley blue. I really, really like this colour. It's very nice. Let's take a closer look at this one. Okay, now on to squale. This is the 1521 Onda, a really, really great looking watch with a beautiful wave dial, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Onda means wave in Italian. Someone could correct me on that, and I think it's in our write-up. So if that is incorrect, I apologise, but yes, a very, very cool reference, part of the 1521 family, which is this iconic case shape and sort of design that we've all come to know and love with squale. Now, for full transparency, we were a stockist of squale, and we have now stopped that stocking. We've stopped all stocking and actually have focused purely on pre-owned watches. And the remainder ones we had, we did a sort of flash sale and sold. This one and the other one we're going to look at did sell, and we have actually bought them back or taken them back against other things. So that's something just to keep in mind for transparency. Not that it really matters to anything, but the reference to this one I won't bore you with. You can see it on the website. Inside is the automatic Cellini SW200-1, and it does compared on its original brown strap with its squale signed buckle, and it's from March 2023 with its box and paperwork and its remainder of its manufacturer warranty. That manufacturer warranty is still valid because we were a stockist at the point of selling the watch, and even afterwards we still get to honour the warranty on the watches that are brand new. We have 2 remaining. If you are interested, email us. They are the sub 39s for reference. We have 2. So yeah, let's show this on wrist and talk dimensions. Here we go, on my 7-inch wrist. This is why this family, the 1521, is so popular among collectors, because they wear so bloody well. They're not small, but they're not huge either. 42mm by 48mm lug to lug, 12.5mm thick, and 20mm on the lug, so endless options. I actually have seen a customer pair this on a mesh bracelet, and it looks fantastic. So go check this one out on the website today. And last but by no means least, the classic 1521 blasted case in black. Really cool watch. So let's take a closer look. Next up, another squale, and again the 1521. This is the black dial with the black bezel and the blasted case. Personally, one of my favourite configurations for this reference. I'll be interested to know what yours is down in the comments. Again, I won't bore you with the reference to this one. Inside is the automatic Cellini SW200-1, and this is also from March 2023. As I said with the previous squale, this was sold by us when we were a stockist, and which we are no longer a stockist. Again, not that it matters, but it does come with its 2-year warranty, and it has been hardly worn, to be honest. The customer got it, and I think enjoyed it for a little bit, and then that was it. Often that happens with watches. I'm sure we've all been there ourselves. Really great watch, really beautiful design, and you cannot go wrong, especially, can't even English, especially at this price point. But let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go, paired on my 7-inch wrist. I love how this watch looks on the wrist and with the bead blasted case. I think it gives a really nice finish to it and a really nice look. 42mm by 48mm lug to lug, 12.5mm thick, and again 20mm on the lugs. Endless options. The rubber strap that it comes on, the original Squale, is quite thick and stiff, I find, so I'd personally be swapping that out, but it looks good nonetheless. So go check it out on the website today. So there you have it, guys and girls. This week's drop, 10 incredible watches, something really for everyone. And a lot of you will notice we have simplified our photography. We sort of did some polling. We spoke to quite a few people, customers, and also people who have no interest in watches, because I thought it would be interesting to hear their sort of take on what they thought looked good. And we've gone simplified. We've actually changed the first photo on the website. You'll now see it's straight on wood. I think it looks really, really nice, and we've sort of kept the wood theme going. For those of you who've been to the office, you'll know there's a lot of dark browns and a lot of nice woods. It's kind of the theme I like. So we're incorporating that into our photography. We also have in the description of every single watch now for sale. That's coming out. So if you go back 2 weeks, they won't have them, but everything from now with the new photography will have this. Under the points of mention, there will be a link to a Google Drive that will show you more photos of the watch shot on the phone in the natural light right here, just off camera where you can't see. Whenever I get a new watch in, once it's ready to go to the process of being photographed and going to the website, I do lots of photos on the phone to send to people in the meantime until those photos are ready. So I thought best to incorporate these, because I often get people ask, do you have any photos just in natural light shot with a phone? Because it sort of shows the real side of it. And our photos do that as well, but again, it's kind of different. You have very intense lights, you have super high quality cameras, and it's all a bit different. So both of the options are there at your fingertips to see straight away without even having to ask for any of it. So hopefully you guys and girls appreciate that. But yeah, that's it for this week's drop. I look forward to next week's drop, and I think you guys and girls are going to really like it too. So we'll see you all again next week. Take care.